The Seattle Seahawks have found their defensive coordinator. Welcome into this special breaking news edition of Seattle Seahawks Today by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. As Mike Macdonald has hired Aden Durde as the next defensive coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks, effective immediately. The report coming from Tom Pelissero of NFL Network tweeted out the following. The Seahawks plan to hire Aden Durde as their defensive coordinator per source. Born in England, Durde played in NFL Europe, or NFL Europa, as it was once known at one point too, in the NFL before embarking on a coaching career. Now, at age 44, he takes a big role on Mike Macdonald's staff in Seattle. Now, I know that there's not a ton out there as far as who Aden Durde is, but just of the information that we've seen, okay, there's a couple things that stand out. For one, working with the Dallas Cowboys over the last few seasons, and Dan Quinn, a Dan Quinn disciple, as we told you about on the program a couple days ago, it's hard to hate on this hire of where he had come from and the track record that he's had from his time in Dallas and his time in Atlanta previously, because the Dallas Cowboys have had maybe the best defense in the NFC over this stretch of the last 3 seasons or so. And with the players that he's worked with, who they developed, all of that is nothing but positive here. Now, the role is going to be interesting. We've heard from Mike Macdonald say that it's still going to be his defense, that Mike Macdonald is going to call the shots, and that whoever they brought in was going to be brought in to run what Mike Macdonald had in place, and which is interesting when you consider Durde comes from a 4-3 scheme and Mike Macdonald comes from a 3-4 scheme. So there will be adjusting of some sorts, but just of what we know, of the small sample size, there's really not much to hate about this hire from Seattle. You could argue, well, maybe he lacks experience, or, maybe the fact that he hasn't been separated from Dan Quinn his coaching career. Those things. But at the end of the day, those are little things. And Mike Macdonald has done such a good job with the rest of the coaching staff that he's put in place. I give him a passing grade. I have no problem with this hire at all. What is your one-word reaction? I'll give you my one-word reaction to the hiring in just a moment, but I want to hear from you first. Let us know in that comment section below. When breaking news happens, we bring you a video as quick as we can here on Seahawks Today, as we've done throughout this entire process, from the head coaching search to now filling up the staff. Nobody is covering the Seattle Seahawks team like we are here on Seahawks Today. Not to mention, it's our second video of the day here on the channel. We're bringing you the latest news and rumors, trades, free agency, the draft, everything you need to know. We're trying to push towards 50,000 subscribers before the Super Bowl. We need your help. Still got a ways to go to get there, but we can make it happen. Subscribe now to Seahawks Today. We certainly appreciate it here on today's show. My one-word reaction is solid. Is this the home run, best possible hire they could have made? I don't know. In fact, probably not. But they could have done a lot worse. And there's nothing to hate about this. This is just a solid hiring for Seattle to go this direction. And you look at his track record of the last few years in Dallas. The Dallas Cowboys defense was so good. Atlanta before that as a defensive assistant. This scheme there, I think what could be interesting, we mentioned that he comes from that 4-3 and Mike Macdonald comes from a 3-4. Maybe there's a chance they can mix things up a bit too and keep offenses on their toes. Maybe you could find a way to still work in some 4-3 stuff with where Aden comes from on that front. The other thing that I look for, as far as schematically goes of what we should expect this Seahawks defense to do, is a lot of cover 3 with what Aden Durde comes from and what he knows. That cover 3 defense should be used to the advantage of the young secondary the Seahawks have and create simplicity for that young secondary, some opportunities for them to shine and perform within that cover 3 scheme. Justin Morris, who writes for Blog and the Boys, had this to say recently about Aden Durde and what he brings to the table, and pretty fascinating. I like this. Durde clearly has a take-no-prisoners type of mentality. That'll get your juices flowing, hearing that. His words are distinct due to his intonation, but he doesn't mince them. And each is used effectively with force. He's a tough love kind of mentor. That's a little bit different than Mike Macdonald, kind of that good cop, bad cop type thing. But that doesn't minimize the visible love that's present from him to his mentees. He wants success. His knowledge about the game is impressive, and it's clear that Durde will accept nothing less than that from his best guys in the trenches. So how about that? I got to tell you, I loved everything I heard as far as that scouting report goes on Aden Durde as the next defensive coordinator for Seattle. More to come on the hiring in just a moment, but first, let's tell you about today's sponsor. We are sponsored by LinkedIn Jobs, and when you're hiring for small business, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help find the right professionals for your team faster and for free, so you can hire people like me, like Chat Sports did, folks. LinkedIn isn't just another job board. LinkedIn has a vast network of more than 1 billion professionals. That's with a B, which makes it the best place to hire. Hiring is easy when you have that many quality candidates. So easy. In fact, 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. A caveman could do it. LinkedIn also knows that small businesses are wearing so many hats and might not have the time or resources to hire. Thankfully, with LinkedIn, the process is intuitive, quick, and easy. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/NFL Daily. That's linkedin.com/NFL Daily to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Now let's get down to business. Get down to business. You guys know that song. Well, that's what Durde's got to do. He has work to do in front of him with this Seattle Seahawks team, because what was the ongoing theme that we talked about with Clint Hurt and Pete Carroll and the Seahawks defense in 2023 and in 2022 was that, hey, they have talent, but this talent is not performing to their full potential, that they are not getting the results of what they are paying for and how well they could play if they were able to put in a position to succeed. The coaching staff was holding them back. You look at these young cats the Seahawks got here. Witherspoon is only 23. Reek Woolen is only 24. And those are your two starting outside corners for hopefully the next decade, right? Boye Mafe led your team in sacks. He's only 25 years old. Jordan Brooks is going to be a free agent, but he's expected to come back, and he's still only 26. Derek Hall, you drafted him in the second round last year. He's only 22. He could barely buy a beer. And then you have Uchenna Nwosu at just 27. He comes back from injury. Draymond Jones had a disappointing year last year, but you're optimistic that he can turn things back around. Leonard Williams is a free agent, but the Seahawks expect to bring him back as well. He's the oldest of that bunch at 29. You got some pieces to work with and to build around for a long time. Because let's be honest, the numbers last year were not anything to write home about at all. At all. As this Seahawks defense was in the bottom half of the league in every major category. Opponent's points per game, yards per game, third down conversion, 46.32, 31st in the NFL. Red zone scoring, 24th. Opponent's touchdowns per game, 22nd. Comparably speaking to Dallas, the numbers were better in about every single category. Points per game allowed, 9th, 20.2. Yards per game, 306.1, 7th. Even the categories where the Cowboys weren't so great. Third down conversion and red zone scoring still was a hell of a lot better than what Seattle did. And then opponent's touchdowns per game, 2.4, 16th in the league. I can live with that. I can live with that if we got that out of the Seahawks defense. How would you grade the hiring of Aden Durde? Are you going to be riding dirty with Aden Durde? I think it's a solid hiring. I don't have a complaint about it. This is a B plus for me. Not the best you could have done, but you could have done a whole lot worse. Solid hiring. I won't complain about it. Give me your grade in the comment section. Subscribe now to Seahawks Today. When there are more hirings, you know we're going to make content here on the channel about it. I mean, I got to tell you, I've been doing videos, whether it's in studio or at home. It hasn't mattered. We're going to cover it for you throughout the next few days as they continue to fill up this coaching staff. Let's go get an OC now. Not going to be Chip Kelly. He's off to Ohio State. We'll find out who that is, and we'll tell you here in the coming days. Subscribe now. We'll see you then.